Well, good morning. We're back. The crazy rains are over and it's extremely hot and humid. So, sorry, no shirt required for this mission. I've got to get all these transmission bolts out and then get the cross member out, and the tranny's going to drop right out. I already got a jack underneath it. Um, but, of course, I ran into some issues. So, I've got all 6 bolts out. And I removed the shift bracket, and as you can see, both of those 2 bolts out. This bolt's out. Everything's out, so we're loose here. I don't really like other mechanics touching my stuff because I don't know how they're going to put things together. And case in point being, this is the bolt that holds the dipstick tube, sorry about the shakes, and the gas line. And this bolt, as you can, get a better view of this. A mechanic put this nut on there. Now, if this were happening to me, I'd have replaced the nut immediately. I actually had to use a metric socket and bang it on here to get this thing back off. But anyway, this is why I like doing my own mechanical work. So let me get this transmission loose, and I'm going to take the camera underneath and hopefully videotape while I'm taking down the cross members. While I was undoing the flywheel, the transmission started to move, so it's good and loose. It's not going to take much to get it out. So what I did was I put 2 of the bolts back in, and I just snugged them. Yeah, you can't see that. There you go. There you go. I just snugged them into the casting so the transmission wouldn't shift while I was doing the flywheel, because I got to torque the engine around with a crowbar to get to each flywheel bolt, and I noticed that the transmission was starting to shift away, so just put these in just to hold it in place. But the tranny's going to come down really easy once I get the flywheel bolts out. This is going to take a little while. I got to pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts out from each side. Drop this first, then take the 2 high bolts that hold this up, and then put the weight of the transmission on as I pull this down and get this center nut out here and get the cross member off so I can get the tranny out. Easier said than done, so I'll be back in a minute because this is going to be long and boring and a lot of bolts and nuts to come out. Well, I now have everything detached. Now both speed sensors are off, the main plug is off, shift linkage is off. Only thing holding it up is that 1 bolt up at the top, the middle bolt on the housing on both sides is the only thing holding it up. So time to put the jack under it and pull her out of here. Good day. I'm back again. I'm under Bertha, which seems to be my normal space now. And yeah, it's like 98 degrees out here, so no shirts involved. This tranny is barely being held up right now. I got the jack underneath it, and there's 2 bolts holding up each cross member. And there's nothing but the 2 bolts loosely attached inside the bell housing that are holding this thing up. I do have a couple other concerns. One thing is, this is for a lady E with a attached emergency brake, and I have not seen how to get the emergency brake cable off it, so that's the discovery of today, the new learning curve today. And I've got to get the they reclamped the hoses with rubber hoses, so I'm going to just follow suit and not try to create something new right now. I just need to get it down, get it rebuilt, and get it running again, and then I can touch up the other stuff, like the stuff I broke. I broke one of the studs off in the rear universal joint bracket bolts. Broke. I think it's right here somewhere. Yep. I also broke this the return fuel line. So I'll edit this into pieces, to make it a little bit shorter. But today this thing has to come down. It's Sunday. I think it's the 7th of July. Yeah, so this is now a 3-day project. But it's been raining a lot, and I'm out in the open. So if it's soaking wet under the truck, I'm not getting under there. And when it's not soaking wet, it's literally blistering hot. Oh, as you can also see, I have pulled the whole exhaust system down from the Y pipe. It's gone all the way to the tailpipe. So anyway, I will be back another day, another job. So the tranny's down and out, and now it's time to remove this e-brake. I already pulled the bolt out of the slip yoke, if you can see that in there. And now I've got to pull these 4 nuts off so I can get the drum off the shoes. And here we have the inside. A lot of brake dust in there. Although I've never, ever pulled the parking brake on this thing, knowing that they freeze up so easily. Anyway, this is the inside. I am not going to do anything to this because I don't really think I'll need it. I would like to make it usable, though, just in case. But if you see this line is so screwed up, I wouldn't want to press it anyway because it's going to freeze up and might even break. So I'll replace this somewhere down the road, but my main concern now is getting this guy off here and getting the transmission rebuilt so I have reverse. Overdrive too, yeah, but I definitely need reverse. I'll be back. So I'm going to remove these 4 bolts, and they do have lock washers on them. I don't know what the torque spec is on this, but I'll tighten it up as tight as it was when I took it off. So, and that's pretty tight. And as you can see, there's blue Loctite on here, which I'll definitely go for again when I put this back together. That's probably why I didn't have it torqued too tight, because it had Loctite in it. But once all these are out of here, I'm pretty sure this thing is just going to be a quick tap it with a hammer and it should slide right off. If it doesn't fall right off on me right now. All right, so let's see how this comes off now. So it took a minute to get this off. It was corroded onto the outside of the yoke. You see all that rust and corrosion. So I'll clean this up and it'll go back together a lot smoother than it came apart. Well, now I'm actually to the part where I'm working on the transmission, not getting the e-brake off. So here comes the easy part, the part that I've studied. I'll be making brief videos as I'm pulling things out and inspecting, but I really need to get this thing back up and running, hopefully today or early tomorrow morning. So I'm giving myself about 6 hours to get this apart and back together. So good luck. It'll probably take a lot longer than that. A little weight reduction. God, that thing weighs, I'm going to say 60 to 80 pounds. Not the easiest thing to get out of there. And I did lose just about a quarter cup of fluid because it was completely full. I mean, completely full. I bought a new torque converter. This don't look so bad. I bought a new torque converter because if I'm going to do all this work, I might as well change one of the most important parts, and that's the torque converter. Anyway, it's time to pull this out of here and start pulling components out and doing some rebuilding. So the trouble continues. The screw that holds the speed sensor in snapped off, and the speed sensor magnet has shards of metal on it. So the nightmares continue. Anyway, back to take this thing apart and see what's destroyed inside here and see if I can use anything out of the other transmission to fix this one.